Chapter 12:21. Love Comes. Hearing that his brother was arranging for him to claim immortal goo from the treasury, Fang Yuan smiled that in his case, he did not lack immortal goo. Forget about rank 6 immortal goo. Fang Yuan even had many rank 7 immortal goo. As for rank 8, Fang Yuan had attitude goo, years flow like water immortal goo, and wisdom sword immortal goo. Right now, the most important one was attitude goo. Wisdom sword immortal goo needed rank 8 immortal essence, while years flow like water had a huge drawback of attracting immemorial year beasts. But in terms of numbers, Fang Yuan had more rank 8 immortal goo than Wu Yong. He even had rank 9 wisdom goo. Although, strictly speaking, wisdom goo did not belong to Fang Yuan. Inside Wu clan's treasury, there were indeed many useful or powerful immortal goo, and there was a high chance that many immortal goo suited Fang Yuan's needs. But deep down, Fang Yuan clearly understood, at this juncture, there was one thing that he needed the most: Dream Realm. As long as he could enter the Dream Realm, Fang Yuan could use Unravel Dream to rapidly raise his attainment levels. When his attainment levels rise, he would be able to annex more immortal apertures. Unlike now, he was restricted by his attainment levels. He could not annex many blessed lands. There were relatively few goo immortals that in a single region. There were merely several 100 goo immortals. Most of them were rank 6, few were rank 7, and rank 8 goo immortals were usually the ones at the peak. Among these goo immortals, Fang Yuan could only annex some of the rank 6 and 7 immortal apertures. And among these, only those which he had suitable attainment levels could be annexed. He could not go to Central Continent. As for the other 4 regions, there were many goo immortals that Fang Yuan could not touch, like those with close relationships to rank 8 goo immortals, or those who were hard to find, or people like Feng Jiu Gu and Shirlei. Therefore, at the end of the day, Fang Yuan did not have many immortal apertures to annex. Earlier, he could annex a lot and raise his cultivation level. On one hand, it was Fang Yuan's accumulation. He had killed many goo immortals and obtained a lot of information. But on the other hand, Fang Yuan had sufficient luck, raising his attainment levels in all the different paths had great benefits for Fang Yuan to increase the range of his choices drastically. He would be able to annex even more immortal apertures. Earlier, I annexed immortal apertures and raised my cultivation level from rank 6 to 7. But after reaching rank 7, annexing rank 6 immortal apertures to skip calamities and tribulations has a far smaller effect. My cultivation level is rising at an unavoidably slower speed. But after raising my attainment levels in different paths, my rank 7 cultivation level would start to climb up rapidly again. The speed would not be as fast as before. After all, rank 7 immortal apertures are very rare, but compared to normal cultivation, it is still extremely shocking. Of course, Fang Yuan could not estimate the actual speed, because it depended on the situation that if he was lucky enough, he would be able to annex many ranked 7 blessed lands at once. With enough of them, he would rise to rank 8. It was not impossible. This was the power of the sovereign immortal aperture. Spectral Soul had spent 100,000 years, sacrificing Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance to create this immortal goo. There was good reason for it. For ordinary goo immortals, this cultivation method was impossible. However, there are not many rank 7 blessed lands. Even if I add up all 5 regions, I can forget about advancing to rank 8 for now. Fang Yuan thought about it. The chances of becoming rank 8 immediately were too slim. He had a clear mind. Fang Yuan was not overly greedy. He knew what was important and what was less of a concern. Thus, facing Wu Yong, he said, "I do not need to go to the treasury. I know what I want." Oh, Wu Yong was surprised. Next, Fang Yuan said the names of 2 immortal goo. One was rank 6, the other was rank 7. Wu Yong was even more surprised now. He looked at Fang Yuan deeply, having understood what he wanted. But he still pretended to be unaware. These 2 immortal goo are part of the super goo formation. They have been used already to encircle that giant dream realm. Are you sure you want them? Fang Yuan nodded without any hesitation, showing that he had made his decision in order to create the super goo formation and protect the dream realm. The Righteous Path forces in southern border had contributed both manpower and resources. Wu clan put in 6 immortal goo. There was no need to conceal this information. Fang Yuan had learned about it from Xiao Clan's Gu Immortals. As for why he chose these two immortal Gu, it was because they were extremely crucial to the operations of the Super Gu formation. One could say, if Fang Yuan became the owner of these immortal Gu, he would have the biggest say in the Super Gu formation. Fang Yuan continued to speak earnestly. Brother, you have been in the clan since you were born. You have the support of Southern Border's strongest super force. But I am different. I grew up in Eastern Sea without anyone's help. I am a lone cultivator. You have never been a lone cultivator. You will not know our pain. Therefore, this time, I thought of coming to Southern Border, to join Wu Clan. I do not want to go back to Eastern Sea anymore. I admit that I have my ambitions, but which Gu Immortal has no ambition? Brother, I will speak the truth. You are a rank 8 Gu Immortal. You have rank 8 Immortal Gu. You are the first Supreme Elder of Wu Clan. You live freely in Wu Clan. As for me, I came from Eastern Sea. I only have rank 7 cultivation level. I have some transformation path methods, but how can I compete against you? I have never thought of fighting with you. I merely want my cultivation journey to continue. Xiao Clan has an alliance agreement with me. Therefore, they supported me to come here. I was forced to. Without Xiao Clan's help, I could not even attend Mother's funeral. But I am still a Wu Clansman. Wu Clan's bloodline flows within me. My mother might have left me when I was a baby, but she had asked me to return in her final days. No matter what she thinks, she is still my birth mother all along. These last few days, I have been thinking, the Dream Realm's location is where I want to go. I am willing to leave Wu Clan and cultivate there forever. All I want is some support from the clan, so that I would not be without cultivation resources. That way, I will be satisfied. Fang Yuan spoke with sincerely. It was a moving speech. Towards the end, his eyes even turned red. He bowed deeply to Wu Yong. Wu Yong was moved. He left his seat, going towards Fang Yuan and grabbing his shoulders. My brother. He spoke. His voice was trembling. His expression was agitated. You are my younger brother. We have the same mother. I understand your intentions. I understand your hardships, and I am glad that you understand my difficulties. Since that is so, I will agree to your request. Do not forget what you said today. Elder brother. Fang Yuan choked, tears falling down from the corners of his eyes. I will not forget today's words. Brother is granting my wish. I will support you fully. In the future, unless brother agrees, I will not act on my own and step into Wu Clan's headquarters at all. I will also not interact with Wu Clan's Gu Immortals excessively. Wu Yong grabbed Fang Yuan's hands, patting the back of his hands. You will not let me down, and I will not let you down. A moment later, Fang Yuan left the hall. Finally, I can go to the Super Gu formation and openly explore the Dream Realm. The excitement in his heart could not be described to others. Meanwhile, Wu Yong sat down on his seat, having a deep gaze in his eyes. My younger brother knows what's best for him. He is clear of the current situation. Not bad indeed. He did not mention the immortal Gu inheritance at all, and even volunteered to leave Wu Clan's headquarters. With his absence, I will be able to control the clan as rapidly as possible. The Dream Realm is also very useless. Current methods cannot excavate this mountain of treasures. As long as he guards the Super Gu formation quietly and cultivate in peace, without trying to gain authority in Wu Clan, so what if I have to give him many more times the cultivation resources he is asking for? The Dream Realm is like this now, but the future is not certain. After all, this is a prophecy regarding Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Speaking of which, my younger brother's ambitions are not small. However, just as he said, who has no ambitions? It is not scary to have ambitions. It is scary if your ambitions are so big you cannot recognize your own limits and do something stupid beyond your abilities. For example, Xiao Clan, Humph. Central Continent, Spirit Affinity House. Zhao Linyun knelt on the ground like a statue. The house in front of her was shut tight. There was no disturbance. Feng Jin Huang no longer lived here. Zhao Linyun knew this, but she still continued to kneel here because she knew that this was her only hope. She had to grab onto it, because other than this, there were no other options at this moment. Zhao Linyun's legs were numb. She was so tired she felt dizzy. In her daze, memories of the past surfaced in her mind. There was a grassland with budding wild flowers. This flower is for you, Lady Xiao Yun. They say that women love flowers. Ma Hongyun brought a bunch of flowers with him as he stood in front of Zhao Lianyun, smiling sheepishly. It stinks. Zhao Lianyun covered her nose, saying in disgust, "What flowers did you pick? These smelly fly flowers only grow on top of animal feces. Take them away from me." Ma Hongyun was stunned. He answered, "Precisely because they grow on feces, they are big and strong." Zhao Lianyun was rolling her eyes. She stepped on Ma Hongyun's leg angrily. "Get lost. Fool, why are you finding me flowers? You should think of how to please your young master." "You idiot." Ma Hongyun was jumping from the pain. He said meekly, "I wanted to thank you. Thanks for lying for me. Otherwise, I would have been executed for stealing shoes." Scenes of the past faded gradually. Zhao Lianyun returned to the cold, hard reality. Big fool. But what am I doing now? I seem like a fool too, huh? To think that I, Zhao Lianyun, would act so foolishly as well. You always do foolish things, but the results always end up good. I am not you, but this is the only thing that I can do. I am just a normal person. Thinking of this, tears rolled down Zhao Lianyun's eyes. The grief and agony in her heart could not be described with words to at this time. In her blurry vision, she saw a gu. Rank 9. Love gu. It was flying in front of Zhao Lianyun. Chapter 1222. Current Generation Fairy, Zhao Lianyun. Rank 9 Love gu. Zhao Lianyun did not recognize this gu worm. But that did not stop her from noticing this gu worm's uniqueness. Because in her vision, this gu worm had become the center of the world. Its body was glowing with multicolored lights. The entire gu worm seemed to be the hottest flame burning in the universe. All of reality would be overturned. Everything in this world would revolve around it. Is this the miracle? Zhao Lianyun's face was covered in tears. A final thought was produced in her mind. Next, she fell onto the ground, falling unconscious. Spirit Affinity House was in a commotion. Love gu. It was the signature immortal gu of Spirit Affinity House. It flew out of its resting place to Zhao Lianyun's side. Most importantly, when Zhao Lianyun was unconscious, it did not fly away. It remained on her shoulder. That night, Spirit Affinity House recalled all of the gu immortals in the sect, holding an emergency meeting to discuss this matter. Spirit Affinity House's first Supreme Elder, second Supreme Elder, and third Supreme Elder, Feng Jiugu, Fairy Bai Qing, Su Hao, Li Juning, and the others had gathered. The auras of immortals mixed together, the highest number of gu immortals from Spirit Affinity House had gathered together for the first time in hundreds of years. Everyone, we know about the rules of the sect. Now that Love Gu has acknowledged Zhao Lianyun, she is the sect's current generation fairy. Su Hao spoke expressionlessly, but intense joy could be felt from his tone. Back then, he had advised Zhao Lianyun he was just trying to target Feng Jin Huang and damage her reputation, to elevate Zhao Lianyun's own prestige. He did not think that Zhao Lianyun would be so stubborn. Continuing to kneel there without giving up, Su Hao was helpless about this. He nurtured Zhao Lianyun and used her as a chess piece to deal with Feng Jin Huang. His real goal was to attack Feng Jin Huang's father. Feng Jiugu at a place with people interacting would have internal and external conflicts. When an organization is big, there would be many factions in it. Right now, the Feng faction with Feng Jiugu at the lead had the greatest authority in Spirit Affinity House that Su Hao, Li Juning, and the others were suppressed by the Feng faction, unable to lift their heads. Thankfully, Spirit Affinity House's two rank 8 gu immortals, first Supreme Elder and second Supreme Elder, were impartial. They did not side with anyone, only looking at the benefits of Spirit Affinity House. This allowed Su Hao and Li Juning to remain as part of the sect's core authority, despite the Feng faction's power. Zhao Lianyun knelt and begged Feng Jin Huang. Most people could only see the surface of the matter. Only a few understood that this was a political conflict in Spirit Affinity House. Zhao Lianyun was a mere mortal, but after inheriting the thieving Heaven True inheritance, she was qualified to compete with Feng Jin Huang for the position of Spirit Affinity House's fairy. Su Hao made Zhao Lianyun his political tool. Originally, Su Hao was thinking that he could not let Zhao Lianyun kneel anymore. In his opinion, as a political performance, it was already enough. If Zhao Lianyun continued kneeling, she would be like an idiot. there were no gains for her. But several hours ago, when Su Hao heard that Love Gu had stayed by Zhao Linyun's side of its own accord, he was stunned. After his heavy shock, he felt intense joy. He acutely sensed that this was a God-sent opportunity. This gift was too precious. He almost fainted from happiness. This was an unbelievably rare chance that he needed to use this opportunity to make Zhao Linyun's Spirit Affinity House's fairy. Then on this basis, he would retaliate against the Feng faction. This was an unprecedented opportunity for Su Hao and the sect. As long as he made use of this chance, his future in the sect would change drastically for the better. Su Hao did not doubt this. Thus, he was the first to stand up and support Zhao Linyun for the position, to become Spirit Affinity House's current generation fairy. He spoke. Our sect rules are clear in choosing the fairies. First, we listen to the masses, then we look at aptitude. Finally, we look at the preference of higher-ups. The meaning was, they would first see what the people in the sect thinks, before looking at the aptitude and talent of the participant, and finally, it would depend on who suited the preferences of the higher-up Gu immortals more. Su Hao continued to speak. Right now, in terms of the masses, Zhao Linyun might be an otherworldly demon, but she has love and loyalty. In order to save her lover, she knelt down to her opponent. The entire sect knows about her character, and in terms of aptitude, it is not important. As long as we are willing, we can raise a mortal's aptitude easily. I believe that everyone has heard of her experiences in Northern Plains. She is an elite in terms of talent. And finally, everyone's preferences. I greatly acknowledge Zhao Linyun. I express my support towards her in becoming our fairy. I concur. Su Hao had just said that when Li Juning added this, she was Su Hao's wife. They had the same opinion in this. This was not strange. But the following scene was shocking to others. I agree with Su Hao. I approve of Su Hao's perspective. Even Love Gu acknowledged Zhao Linyun. What else do I have to say? At once, 5 to 6 Gu immortals agreed with Su Hao's words. Fairy Baiqing could not stand it anymore. She felt. It seemed that everyone here agreed with Su Hao. They felt that the position of Spirit Affinity House's fairy should go to Zhao Linyun. Fairy Baiqing was a Gu immortal of Spirit Affinity House. But more than that, she was Feng Jinhuang's mother. The position of fairy in Spirit Affinity House was very special. She was the cultivation seed that was chosen by the entire Spirit Affinity House. Even the mortals were part of the selection process. Next, they would invest heavily in her and nurture her to become immortal. Every generation's fairy would be Spirit Affinity House's representative when they fully matured. Spirit Affinity House was an organization, and organizations not only needed old experts, but also new Gu immortals to inject fresh blood and keep the system going smoothly. Fairy Baiqing herself was a fairy of Spirit Affinity House. She had felt for herself the experience of having an entire sect support her cultivation. Even though Feng Jiugu and Baiqing were both Gu immortals and could totally fund their daughter, Feng Jinhuang, for her immortal ascension easily, this type of support paled in comparison to the funding of the entire sect. Fairy Baiqing did not want to see her daughter lose, but she understood deeply. Right now, the situation was very disadvantageous for her because the sect rules were, in choosing a fairy, other than listening to the masses, looking at aptitude, and the higher-ups' preference, there was also an important part. That was, once Love Gu acknowledged someone, no matter how disliked they were, or how bad their aptitude was, or even how badly received they were by the Gu immortal higher-ups, they would become the current generation fairy, regardless of the situation, or whether they were male or female. Because of this rule, after Su Hao finished speaking, he gained the approval of many Gu immortals. They expressed their support. In fact, Su Hao's own political force was not strong. Normally, he would not garner such support. Even though the sect rules are as such, it is not a hopeless situation. Because in our sect's history, there was a fairy that was promoted because of this rule, and in the end Fairy Baiqing thought of this and was about to speak. But at this time, Feng Jiugu pressed down on her hand softly. Don't be anxious. I know, you want to mention Mo Yao, right? Back then, she was just an Inkman slave, but she gained the acknowledgement of Love Gu and was funded by the entire sect to become a Gu immortal, and even managed to reform Bo Qing. But in the end, she betrayed the sect. She defied Heavenly Court. Feng Jiugu transmitted. Fairy Baiqing nodded, replying to him secretly. That's right. This is Huang Er's only hope. As long as we use this point and continue arguing, using the strength of Feng faction, we might be able to get the sect to change this rule. After all, rules are made by people, isn't that right? This sect rule does not make sense. But Feng Jiuge shook his head that he rejected Fairy Bai Qing's idea. Su Hao is a wisdom path Gu immortal. Why did he not mention the sect rules in his earlier speech? He only talked about the first 3 conditions, and seemingly forgot about this sect rule that was most advantageous for him. Fairy Bai Qing was slightly stunned. Feng Jiuge continued. This is his scheme, his trap. If you talk about it, you will fall into his plot. Even though Bo Qing and Mo Yao had caused such a situation, the sect rules did not change. After the Battle of Yitian Mountain, our sect suffered a lot of pressure, but our rules had not changed either. This is a very deep issue. There is more than meets the eye. If you want to use Feng faction's power to challenge it foolishly, wanting to change this rule, we will lose miserably. We would suffer heavy losses while Su Hao would be completely intact. That is what he wants to see. Fairy Bai Qing's body was covered in cold sweat. I was rash. She quickly calmed down. After a while, she thought about why she made such a mistake. Because it involved Huang Er, I became confused due to love. No, there is another reason. I became a rank 7 Gu immortal and gained rank 7 immortal Gu. Compared to before, I was overconfident. Because I am in the righteous path, battle strength is not everything. If hubby did not remind me today, I would have committed a huge mistake. Thinking of this, Fairy Bai Qing unconsciously looked at Feng Jiuge. She felt a strong feeling of protection from him. Even though Feng Jiuge was from the demonic path, after all these years he had demonstrated his skills. Being in the sect did not require just battle strength. His political abilities were also far superior to her. Otherwise, how could his Feng faction have such brilliance today? Since you can expose Su Hao's trap, I will entrust this matter to you. Fairy Bai Qing transmitted secretly. There was sweet affection in her tone. Feng Jiuge smiled bitterly. This matter, I am not going to interfere. Because interfering is of no use. What do you mean? Fairy Bai Qing was stunned. Feng Jiuge did not speak. He looked at the sky. He did not fall for it. Su Hao was originally waiting for someone to jump out. But nobody objected to his words. Even Feng Jiuge was keeping silent. He felt that it was a pity. But he quickly collected his thoughts, feeling confident inside. Forget it. Since nobody objected, this matter is decided. But First Supreme Elder suddenly said, I have understood everyone's stances. But Zhao Yin has a special background. She is an otherworldly demon. I will report the result of our discussion to the higher-ups. They will decide themselves. What? Su Hao was completely stunned. Chapter 1223. Entering the Gu Formation openly. Southern border. The remains of Yitian Mountain. Lord Wu Yihai. This way, please. Wuan bowed as he led the way. Feng Yuan nodded. In front of him, an entrance opened in the Super Gu Formation. Please, Lord, enter first. Wuan gave way as he smiled affectionately. Wu Yihai's identity was now known to almost everyone in Southern Border's Gu immortal world. Feng Yuan arrived directly and became Wu clan's person in charge for the Super Dream Realm. Wuan, with only rank 6 cultivation level, was his direct subordinate. He had to curry favor. Feng Yuan had yet to take over the role, but Wuan had already flown out of the Super Gu Formation, staying at a mountain for 2 days and 2 nights 100 li away, just to receive Feng Yuan when he arrived. When he saw Feng Yuan, he immediately lowered himself and stuck to Feng Yuan like a fly. Whatever he was asked, he answered to the best of his abilities. If Feng Yuan wanted to kick his butt, he would definitely move his butt over to Feng Yuan's leg so that he could kick it more conveniently. But this was exactly why he gave Feng Yuan a good understanding of all the Gu immortals who were here from different clans defending the Super Gu Formation, as well as this current situation. Feng Yuan did not stand on ceremony with Wuan. He entered first as Wuan followed after him, smiling and lowering his head. Many Gu immortals were looking at this scene. Secretly, Wu Yihai is here. Not long ago, he used Wu clan's immortal killer move and got rid of his status as an Eastern Sea Gu immortal. He is now a true member of Southern Border. Ba Quanfeng said as he observed the expression of the Gu immortal beside him carefully. It was none other than the publicly recognized strongest rank 7 expert in Southern Border's Gu immortal world, Old Treeman Ba Di. The Ada retracted his gaze, saying plainly, "Let's observe for now." Saying this, he turned around and left. It seemed like Wu Yihai's appearance was just an insignificant matter to him. Ba Quan Feng was disappointed. He wanted to see Bada's reaction. Wu Yihai was here, but he was a newbie. Be it in the Super Gu formation or in Southern Borders Gu Immortal World, he was a newcomer that Wu Du Xiu died. Wu clan only had one rank 8 Gu Immortal left, Wu Yong. Their strength had fallen drastically. Many clans were waiting to strike. Especially the strong Ba clan. In the past, when Wu clan was strong, Ba Quan Feng had many opinions about it. Now that one of Wu clan's rank 8 Gu Immortals was dead, and a newcomer, Wu Yihai, was here, he unavoidably had some notions of suppressing him to vent his frustration. Unfortunately, Bada said that they would observe for now. After all, nobody knew about Wu Yihai's strength and methods. Bada was a dependable and experienced old schemer. If Wu Yihai was naive or had low strength, he would not mind making Ba clan the main controller of this Super Gu formation. Inside the Super Gu formation, there was space inside that surrounded the entire Super Dream realm, forming something like a giant city. Each segment was guarded by one clan. The 13 Righteous Path forces split the space in this Super Gu formation into 13 portions. The space that Wu clan occupied was huge. It was one of the largest among the 13. The only clan that was comparable to them was Ba clan. Even Tai clan and Shan clan were inferior. Feng Yuan entered it, and because he had information provided by Wu clan, and he had his lackey, Wen, he did not lose his way. Soon, he found his way to the core, and met with another Gu immortal from Wu clan, Wu Liao. This person had broad shoulders and a thin waist. He looked very brave and heroic. There was a needle-like beard under his chin. He greeted Feng Yuan without any tone of submission. "Greetings to Lord Wu Yihai. Please pardon me for not receiving you. I was tasked to stay here." His tone was calm. Pride was rooted in him. Feng Yuan felt very amused. Wen and Wu Liao, they both had rank 6 cultivation level, but their attitudes were a stark contrast. Now that Wu Yihai was here, all of Wu clan's station Gu immortals were here in the Super Gu formation. Originally, there was a rank 7 Gu immortal, but since Feng Yuan came, he was sent off elsewhere. That Wu clan was huge. It was the number 1 force in Southern Borders Righteous Path, but it did not have many Gu immortals that could be used. Every Gu immortal was a portion of strength that needed to be used wisely and carefully in the right areas. Let's solve the main issues first. I am sure you know about our clan's orders. Bring me to refine my 2 immortal Gu, Feng Yuan said. This was the first important mission. Wu Liao saw that Wu Yihai worked at a rapid speed. He felt a sense of acknowledgement towards him. Wen quickly ran to Feng Yuan's side, smiling in a fawning manner. "Lord, this way please. I will bring you there now." A moment later, Feng Yuan successfully refined the 2 immortal Gu. Refining other people's immortal Gu was not easy. But with Wu clan's cooperation, it was a different story. Feng Yuan finally let out a sigh of relief. He knew Wu clan's treasury definitely had immortal Gu that were better or more suited for himself. But he still chose these 2 immortal Gu regardless. That he did this because he had his own considerations. With these 2 immortal Gu, Feng Yuan could plant his roots into this Super Gu formation. From now on, even if Wu clan wanted to move Feng Yuan away, they had to consider this point. This Super Gu formation was already established. Every immortal Gu was tightly linked. Changing a single one would adversely affect it. Every immortal Gu that each clan controlled was also the investment that the clan was putting into the giant dream realm. It affected the distribution of power and authority that the respective clans had in this place. "Lord, I have prepared some supper for you to eat." After Feng Yuan refined the immortal Gu, Wen quickly came over and said this to him in a subservient manner. Feng Yuan was expressionless. He responded with a grunt. Wen suddenly seemed like he had heard some heavenly music. He quickly led the way joyfully. "Lord, this way please." Wu Liao snorted coldly, showing disdain in his eyes. He did not like Wen's fawning, but Feng Yuan said, "Wu Liao, follow us. I have some things to ask you too." "Yes, Lord." Wu Liao replied respectfully. The banquet was indeed not bad. The dishes and wines were very delicious. Feng Yuan sat at the main seat, while Wen and Wu Liao sat on his left and right. Fang Yuan knew that there was a possibility of bias and misinformation. He could not listen to Wu En's words alone. Thus, during the banquet, he asked the two of them many questions that Wu En and Wu Liao answered respectfully. After the banquet ended, Fang Yuan gained an even clearer understanding of the situation at the Supergu formation. There was a vivid picture in his mind, in Fang Yuan's plan. For a long time in the future, he was going to cultivate here secretly. He had to be clear of the environment here. The righteous path and demonic path was different. The demonic path acted freely while the righteous path talked about rules. What were the rules of the righteous path? It was nothing more than just customs created over a long period of time, rules of a game that involved the distribution of benefits. Fang Yuan understood that since he came here using Wu Yihai's identity, he had to settle matters using righteous path methods. If he used demonic path methods here, his enemies would laugh happily, and his clan would distance themselves from him. Even if Wu Yong sides with his brother, he would not be able to endure the pressure. For the sake of the clan, he would need to move Fang Yuan elsewhere. After all, Wu clan was led by Wu Yong. Wu clan was once the dominant clan, but Ba clan, Shan clan, and Tai clan were not willing to be under Wu clan. Xiao clan was Wu clan's most loyal ally, but after Wu Duxiu's death, the situation had changed greatly. Ba clan was stirring and ready to strike, especially when old Treeman Bada was the one sent here to guard the Dream Realm. With just this, Fang Yuan could acutely sense that from now on, Ba clan was going to be his main competitor at AS for Xiao clan. Fang Yuan felt somewhat of a headache. He came here. He had gone against the agreement with Xiao clan. As for what Xiao clan's attitude would be and how much support they would give him, Fang Yuan was uncertain. After the banquet, Fang Yuan sent Wu En and Wu Liao away, resting alone. Before leaving, Wu En wanted to say some things, but he was very hesitant about it. Wu Liao left quietly. He had an improving opinion of Fang Yuan after this. During the banquet, he asked very precise questions. Even though Wu Liao had difficulties answering them, he felt confident in Fang Yuan's abilities as a result. For Righteous Path Gu Immortals, their own strength was the foundation, but it was not enough. They needed to be skilled in political methods as well. However, after the banquet, for the next few days, Fang Yuan did not show up in public. He was hiding in his own room, cultivating. Is this Wu Yihai really just a lone cultivator? Fang Yuan's actions were very much resembling lone cultivators. This made many Gu Immortals who were observing him secretly make such a guess. Wu Liao was a bit disappointed. He wanted a superior that could suppress the situation, not someone who was purely cultivating. Wu En felt very uneasy. These last days, he had invited Fang Yuan with all sorts of reasons. But Fang Yuan rejected them all. He even said that he should not be disturbed if there were no important matters. Wu En could not tell what Fang Yuan's thoughts were. As time passed, his anxiety turned into fear, and behind Wu En, there were also Gu Immortals from other clans. They were also very anxious. The reason was simple: the immortal opportunity business. Back then, they could do the immortal opportunity business because Wu clan had led them, colluding with several clans Gu Immortals to undergo this trade secretly. The original Wu clan rank 7 Gu Immortal left. Wu Yihai was moved here. The immortal opportunity business thus had to stop, because the person in charge of Wu clan over here was Wu Yihai. Most importantly, he controlled 2 immortal Gu. Wu En was fawning over Fang Yuan so desperately. Other than wanting to gain his protection, he also wanted to salvage the immortal opportunity business. Wu En obtained a lot of benefits from this. Without these benefits urging him, he would not have been so enthusiastic towards Fang Yuan. Initially, interactions between Fang Yuan and Wu En were developing well. But soon, Fang Yuan acted abnormally. Wu En was at a loss. The immortal opportunity business could not be exposed. If it was known publicly, they would be held responsible. This was an act of corruption. It was information that could be used against them. Without dragging Fang Yuan into this, Wu En felt uneasy. Gritting his teeth, he decided to take a risk. Chapter 1224, White Rabbit Seduction, 1/2. Chapter 1224, White Rabbit Seduction, 1/2. This servant greets Lord Wu Yihai. The female Gu Immortal knelt down before Fang Yuan's feet. She wore a white fur coat. It only wrapped around her chest and lower body. A large portion of her snow-white skin was exposed. Her ears were like rabbit ears. Her eyes were red like rubies. Her nose was small and delicate. She had an extremely cute appearance. In terms of beauty, she was only inferior to xianxia and Feng Jin Huang de At this moment. This female immortal was kneeling on the ground. Her forehead was touching the floor. Her huge chest was squeezed by the floor, experiencing a change in form. And her butt was high in the sky, attracting people's gazes. She was none other than Lady White Rabbit. Right now, she was pure yet wild. She was cute and embarrassed, especially with her subservient attitude. When men see her, they would feel something emerging in their crotches. They would want to hug her tightly and give her some well-deserved love. Feng Yuan was feeling strange. Not long ago, he had offered this woman some cultivation resources in exchange for information on the Gu immortal world. To think that now, this woman would be kneeling before his feet, subjecting herself to whatever he wanted to do. This is an attempt to seduce me. This Wuan took a risk and lied to me, saying that some important person wanted to report matters to me, therefore enabling Lady White Rabbit to meet me. It seems that these last few days, I had been secluded for too long. They are anxious now. They even used this method. The method is old and cliched, but it is very effective. Feng Yuan smiled, standing up from his seat, slowly walking towards Lady White Rabbit. Lady White Rabbit's forehead did not leave the concrete floor. With Feng Yuan's sharp eyes, he could see that Lady White Rabbit was trembling. She was nervous, Feng Yuan thought. He had interacted with Lady White Rabbit before, and with his 500 years of cultivation, he could tell that this woman was a pure lone cultivator. To think that she would offer her own body. This must be her first time doing this. Of course, Feng Yuan's judgment could be wrong. But there were likely to be few people in the 5 regions who could deceive him this thoroughly. Lady White Rabbit was indeed very nervous. She was nervous, her body was trembling, her heart was pounding. Even though she knew that she had to be calm and follow Wu Wen's words, she could not do it. Knowing was easy, doing was hard. Turns out seductions are not so easy. After all, Lady White Rabbit sighed internally. Other than this, she felt some shame and anger, as well as disbelief. I am actually doing something like this? Why am I doing this? I am trying to seduce a man I have never even met before. Lady White Rabbit felt very strange. This was not something she would normally do. Before this, she was a pure lone cultivator, having no conflicts in the world. She cultivated in peace and quiet. If anyone told her that she would be on her knees doing this in the future, she would definitely fight that person without doubt. Why did it come to this? Lady White Rabbit thought about it. She had good connections with people, so one day, Wu came to her and said that he had a huge fortune to share with her. Back then, Lady White Rabbit was very wary and suspicious. Why would something so good come to her? She felt that maybe Wu was trying to cheat her money and body, but no. Lady White Rabbit managed the immortal opportunity business. She became the middleman. Both Demonic Path and Lone Immortals had basis to trust her. Of course, the initial business was not good. But afterwards, when word got out, the Gu Immortals gradually understood this business, and people started to flood towards her endlessly. After every business transaction, Lady White Rabbit would take a cut of the profits. Very soon, her total wealth had reached the level of her accumulation in the last tens of years. Lady White Rabbit was shocked and joyful. The business was getting better. She felt that each new day would be brighter. But an unexpected mishap came both suddenly and not suddenly. Not suddenly because Lady White Rabbit knew about the matter entirely. Rank 8 Great Expert, Wu Du Xiao, of Wu Clan, passed away. Her illegitimate son from Eastern Sea, Wu Yihai, was returning to southern border and was attacked by many forces. In the end, Wu Yihai survived the attacks and successfully returned to the clan, becoming a southern border Gu immortal. But it was sudden because Lady White Rabbit did not expect that this matter, which involved the entire southern border Gu immortal world, would implicate her. Wu Yihai, who was far apart, having a high status, had actually come over here and became the person in charge of the Super Gu formation on Wu Clan's side. The immortal opportunity business had to stop, because this business could not be exposed. Originally, Wu Clan's rank 7 Gu immortal was the person manipulating it in the background. Now that he was gone, Wu Yihai came to Wuan and the rest were beneficiaries of this. But they had no ability to continue this business, because they were not qualified to. They could not bypass Feng Yuan and continue the business either. Because this business only involved 7 clans, Ba clan, Tai clan, and Shan clan were not participants. They needed a strong background to support them. Stop it here? No, of course not. All of the Gu immortals involved in the immortal opportunity business had experienced great gains and benefits. They still wanted to continue. Thus, roping Fang Yuan in was the most important matter. Wuan was tasked with this important mission. Wu Liao could not be relied on. This Gu immortal seemed young, but he was very conservative and strict with rules. He had always objected intensely to Wu clan doing the immortal opportunity business. Wuan was very enthusiastic and attended to Fang Yuan meticulously, but he suddenly went into seclusion. This made Wuan and the Gu immortals with him extremely anxious. The situation with the demonic path and lone cultivators was terrible now. Suddenly, they could not enter and interact with the dream realm. This made the Gu immortals feel that something was wrong. Were these righteous path members trying to take their cultivation resources and not holding their side of the deal? Large numbers of Gu immortals surrounded the mortal Gu house on the mountain peak. They could not find the righteous path Gu immortals. They could only surround Lady White Rabbit and shout loudly, sending threats as they demanded answers. At this moment, Lady White Rabbit realized that she was in extreme danger. If the immortal opportunity business could not continue, not only would she not have a bright future, she would be torn to shreds by these wolves. Her end would definitely be miserable. In this situation, Wuan came and spoke with a glib tongue, finally convincing Lady White Rabbit. Lady White Rabbit was forced by the situation. She had no choice but to dress up like this and meet Fang Yuan, using her beauty to seduce this Gu immortal from Wu clan so that he could come out and manage the immortal opportunity business. Raise your head. At this time, Lady White Rabbit heard Fang Yuan's order. Lady White Rabbit's body shook. Her heart almost skipped a beat. She breathed in deeply. She raised her head, looking up at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan looked down imposingly at this beautiful girl. She was sprawling on the ground, raising her head to look at him. Her eyes were large and round. Her skin was white like a boiled egg, and her lips were pink and delicate, soft as flowers. It made people unable to resist the urge of exploring how they tasted, especially the exquisite pink tongue that was inside. What flavor would it have? Stand up. At this moment, Fang Yuan spoke. Lady White Rabbit was like a wooden puppet, obediently standing up. She had an exquisite and busty figure. Her chest could barely be contained, but her height was only at Fang Yuan's chest level. She was like a neighbor's cute daughter. The two were less than 5 meters apart. Lady White Rabbit's heart was pounding fiercely. Her breathing was rough. She was almost gasping. Next, she remembered Wu An's instructions. She stepped forward and hugged Fang Yuan. She used her jade-like arms to wrap around Fang Yuan's waist, using a seductive tone as she said, Master, please forcefully ravage this servant." She stammered as she said that. She wanted to die from shame and embarrassment. Even though she had cultivated for many years, Lady White Rabbit was still very ignorant about male and female relationships. Her only guidelines were Wu and suggestions. "White Rabbit, a white rabbit, how can you say such shameful words? You really said it." Her face was bright red. She was asking herself this on the inside. She found it hard to believe that this was actually her. Elsewhere, outside the place that Fang Yuan lived in, Wuan was pacing around uncertainly. He was anxious. He walked around as he rubbed his hands. They formed into fists at times. From time to time, he stopped walking, turning around to look at the tightly shut door, thinking about what could happen inside. If the immortal opportunity business stopped, and Fang Yuan refused to take over, that would mean that he did not like this idea. He would expose it. This was very possible. Wu Yihai was very young and had just joined Wu clan. He needed to prove himself to the clan. His brother was Wu Yong. He definitely had no lack of cultivation resources. For the moment, benefits were less important to him than reputation. This way, Lady White Rabbit would be done for. Even if she did not die, she would be wanted by the righteous path. She would turn from a lone immortal to a demonic path Gu immortal. Even though Wuan would not die, because Wu clan had limited Gu immortals, he would definitely need to give up the benefits that he had obtained. He would also be punished by the clan. He would be sent away, and his bright future would be completely ruined due to this business. This time, footsteps could be heard. Wuan turned and looked. only to see that this person was standing straight like a spear. His footsteps were like the wind as he emitted an imposing aura all over his body. Wu had a bad feeling. Wu Liao, why are you here? Wu Liao snorted coldly at him. Why else? Someone was shameless and wanted to seduce Lord Wu Yihai into committing a grave mistake. I am here to tell Lord everything that you have done. I want him to know your schemes and ill intentions. Wu was so angry he was about to explode. He pointed at Wu Liao as he gritted his teeth. Wu Liao, you dare to do so? He had tried to bribe Wu Liao, but Wu Liao refused to accept it. He did not find it little. It was just his personality. Among Wu clan's Gu immortals, who would not know about Wu Liao's personality? Chapter 1225, White Rabbit Seduction, 2 halves. Wu Liao ignored Wu. He bowed towards the door deeply as he shouted. Wu has ill intentions. Wu Liao seeks an audience with Lord. I want to report him. Wu's heart was frozen at this point. He was scared. He was fearful. He was afraid that at the next moment, this door would abruptly open and Lady White Rabbit would be thrown out with tears in her eyes. Then he, Wu, would be done for. But no, the door remained shut, as if Fang Yuan heard nothing. But how could this be possible? This was not an ordinary location. It was the internal space of the Super Gu formation. A huge group of palaces had formed that could accommodate people. Fang Yuan controlled 2 crucial immortal Gu. He was fully aware of everything going on in Wu clan's territory inside the formation. Wu and Wu Liao's actions were extremely clear to Fang Yuan. How could he not hear what Wu Liao had shouted earlier? Impossible. Seeing that Fang Yuan was ignoring him, Wu Liao, who was extremely confident, was stunned that he knew that Wu had been trying all kinds of ways to meet Fang Yuan. Wu Liao knew the purpose of his request, that Wu Liao did not obstruct him, because he knew that humans were greedy and selfish. Many people were different from him. For example, the previous rank 7 Gu immortal from Wu clan. But afterwards, Fang Yuan did not meet Wu once. Realizing this, Wu Liao was extremely happy that he thought of it in his own perspective. Since Fang Yuan rejected Wu, he was definitely unhappy with the immortal opportunity business. Indeed, how can someone of Lord Wu Yihai's status be after such small gains? He has just entered the clan. He must be concerned about his reputation and how he would develop as a Wu clan higher-up in the future. Wu Liao guessed. Having such thoughts, he came to meet Fang Yuan, hopeful that Fang Yuan would receive him. But now, the hall's door was shut, like a wall or a tall mountain that was blocking Wu Liao's heart. But Wu laughed heartily. He wiped the sweat off his forehead. His mind returned to a calm state. That Wu Liao's request to meet was the best probe. That Wu instantly thought that he had understood Fang Yuan's intention. That Wu Liao did not believe it. He shouted again, but the doors remained shut. There was no response. That Wu laughed even louder now. Feeling very confident, he spoke. Wu Liao, stop screaming. Lord has important matters to attend to. Is it nice to disturb him like this? Wu Liao's expression was dark and ugly. Wu sneered. Shaking his head, Wu Liao looked down on Wu. While Wu felt that Wu Liao was too obstinate, he was not reasonable in how to deal with people and relationships. Now it seems, even though I took a risk, it paid off well. It is understandable. After all, Lady White Rabbit has a great appearance. When I first saw her in that attire, my heart almost jumped out of my mouth. I wanted so badly to cuddle her and rub all over her body. Seeing a beauty like Lady White Rabbit, as long as one is a man, they would be tempted. Lord Wu Yihai is a young and vigorous guy. He has just gotten some authority, and a beauty comes to him immediately. It can satisfy his ego. Furthermore, he was an Eastern Sea lone cultivator, while Lady White Rabbit is also a Southern border lone cultivator. Between lone cultivators, they can understand each other and feel for each other. And the rarer thing is that Lady White Rabbit is a real virgin. When a man and woman meet, they would be like the fusion of fire and ice. While he was thinking that, at the next moment, something happened that caught Wu off guard. Only to see that the doors opened, Lady White Rabbit stood at the door, appearing before the 2 Wu clan Gu immortals. What happened? She came out already? Why has it been so little time? Wu was extremely surprised. Lord must have heard my words and sent this female immortal out. Wu Liao was overjoyed, but when he saw Lady White Rabbit, his gaze froze. Even though he felt a little disgusted earlier, Seeing Lady White Rabbit's divine beauty made his heart shook. He could not help but admit that Lady White Rabbit was beautiful. Such a short time has passed. Did she not succeed? Wu En's heart sank to rock bottom. He was in a daze, his throat went dry. But soon, he saw that Lady White Rabbit had changed her clothes. It was no longer the white fur coat from before. Also, what attracted Wu En's attention more was that Lady White Rabbit was wearing a pair of jade earrings. They were ball-shaped and extremely thick. This was Southern Border's custom. When a woman marries and loses her virginity, she would wear such earrings to show that she had successfully become one with her. Manda Wu En was overjoyed. He was extremely happy. Wu Liao's expression was pale. His eyes were sharp. He had already seen Lady White Rabbit's jade ball earrings. Did you succeed? Wu En came forward and asked carefully. Lady White Rabbit had an odd expression, but she nodded and did not speak. Wu En let out a breath of turbid air. He shut his eyes as pressure left him. He could not adapt to this feeling and nearly fell down. But why was it so fast? Wu En had a thought. This shouldn't be. Don't tell me that Lord Wu Hai is a two-pump chump in that aspect. Such a situation is not rare in Southern Border. There are many guys who had cultivate until this happened to them. Hee. If that is the case, I can offer many useful goo worms to Lord in the future. But Lord Wu Hai is already a rank 7 goo immortal. With so many Dao marks in him, these goo worms might not be effective. These jade pearls were given to me by Lord Wu Hai. He has instructed me to tell you. From now on, he will mainly focus on cultivating. You can carry on with your duties. Do not disturb his cultivation. Lady White Rabbit said. After she said that, Wu En looked at Wu Liao smugly with the expression of a victor. Wu Liao's body shook. He took a step back, looking at Wu En angrily as he turned and left. Lord Wu En, let's leave too. Lady White Rabbit said. Don't call me Lord. How can I, Wu En, be any lord? Just call me by my name. Wu En showed a sincere expression, as well as a courteous smile. Right now, Lady White Rabbit's status had changed. Not only did Wu Hai take Lady White Rabbit's virginity, he had given her jade pearl earrings. He acknowledged her status as his concubine. Lady White Rabbit felt Wu En's change in attitude. She had a complex feeling inside her. She spoke. Actually, Wu En, Lord Wu Hai has some words especially for you. Lady, please tell me. Wu En quickly turned solemn. Lady White Rabbit said some shocking things. Actually, Lord Wu Hai did not copulate with me. What? Wu En's expression turned into shock. The earlier scene appeared in Lady White Rabbit's mind again. When she went ahead to hug him with an extremely flustered feeling, a pair of strong hands grabbed her shoulders. Next, strong force was emitted in these warm hands. Without allowing for any resistance, Lady White Rabbit was pushed away from Feng Yuan's body. Lady White Rabbit's expression turned pale. Instantly, she felt that she failed. But at the next moment, she heard Feng Yuan's voice. When I was in Eastern Sea, I was a lone cultivator. I know the pain of a lone cultivator clearly. Some things are sweet, but you will have to pay a price if you swallow them. I am sure that now, you understand why. However, I do not want to take advantage of someone in dire straits. Saying this, Lady White Rabbit saw that a hand had stretched out towards her chest. It was holding a goo worm. This is a clothing goo. Wearing it before talking to me. Feng Yuan's voice could be heard again. Lady White Rabbit obeyed him. The clothing goo turned into clothes that covered her body. When she raised her head again, she saw Feng Yuan smiling lightly at her. Even though I joined Wu Clan, I am still a lone cultivator at heart. It will never change. You can consider this goo worm a gift from a fellow lone cultivator, I suppose. Lady White Rabbit's heart jumped. She felt an indescribable sensation. She was extremely touched in both body and soul. At once, she started sobbing. Tears formed in her eyes as her vision turned blurry. But in her blurry vision, Lady White Rabbit could feel that Feng Yuan's smile was so warm and gentle. It was like the rays of the morning sun, shining into her heart, providing warmth and protection to her. However, if you leave like this, you might not be able to answer for the consequences. I am clear about you and Wu En's intentions in coming here. Thus, bring this with you. Feng Yuan said, taking out a pair of earrings. With his abilities, creating such mortal objects would only take a thought. Lady White Rabbit received this pair of jade earrings with tears in her eyes. From today onwards, you are my attendant and mistress. Fang Yuan smiled and said, Lady White Rabbit acknowledged his words, slightly nodding. Go ahead with the immortal opportunity business. But I will not take over. If anything happens, I can help out secretly, but I will not step up officially. This is a matter that violates the interests of the other Righteous Path clans. After all, the entire Super Gu formation was created with everyone's effort. I have just arrived in Southern Border. I have yet to establish myself. I do not need these meager gains. You are so intelligent, you understand what I mean, right? Yes, I understand. Lady White Rabbit quickly answered with a shaky voice. Go back and convey my message to Wu and the people around him. My portion of the profits will go to you. Fang Yuan sent her off. Lady White Rabbit mustered up her courage, wanting to take another look at Fang Yuan, but she did not manage to do so. She lowered her head as she walked out. The moment her back faced Fang Yuan, tears fell down her cheeks. The situation was much better than she had thought. The name of Wu Yihai was engraved into the deepest part of her soul. I understand now. I understand now. After hearing Lady White Rabbit's recollection, Wu Yin's forehead was full of sweat. His smugness was completely gone by now. He subconsciously looked towards Fang Yuan's residence. Wariness, and even more so, admiration and respect was hidden in his gaze.